Hi turnips! So today I'm going to show you guys how to make this cute and adorable panda donut. It is inspired by CaliforniaDonuts, and without further ado, let's get started! So for this recipe, we are going to be using warm milk, and I'm adding the dry activating yeast. We are also going to add in the sugar, just so that the yeast can start eating the sugar and start activating. And once it looks very foamy and bubbly like that, that's when you know it's ready. And then on a separate bowl, we are going to add in our unsalted butter, and we are going to melt it in our microwave. And we are going to combine all of them together. So after mixing it together, we are going to crack in our eggs. So instead of using a whisk just to combine the eggs, I'm just going to use my spatula and break into the yolk and combine it. So for the next step, we are going to add in our dried ingredients, and I'm going to add in my flour. And it's very important that you do not add in all your flour at once, because you want to make sure that it is well combined. So add it a little bit by a little bit, and before you know it, it'll be well combined together. And hopefully this slide will give you guys a better view on how to see the texture. Once it's well combined and you do not see any clumps of flour, you can add in your second batch of flour. And just like before, we are going to combine it until it's well complete and even in texture. And here is a really nice top view, and as you can see, the flour is being combined on the edges of the bowl into the dough. And once you have done a really good job, it should look like that. So for the next step, we are going to take out our dough, and we are going to flour the surface just so that the dough does not adhere to our table. And then we are also going to make sure that we flour our hands so that the dough does not stick to our hands as well. Since we are using a rolling pin, we are going to flour the rolling pin as well. And then first we are going to knead our dough until it's evenly combined. For those who have a KitchenAid mixer where there's a dough hook, I recommend to use a dough hook when you are kneading, because it's so easy and so simple. But for those who do not have a dough hook like I do, I am just going to knead it by hand, and by kneading you are just pushing it in one direction and folding it over, just so that the yeast and the eggs and the flour are evenly distributed and combined throughout. And then next, once it's even, we are going to use our rolling pin just to roll it out in one direction. And then once you think that it's a good thickness, which is about 1/8 of an inch, we are going to use a cookie cutter to cut out the circles. So you guys can be really creative with this part. You guys can use different shaped cookie cutters, and for those who do not have cookie cutters, you are more than welcome to use any circular lid. As long as it makes the shape, you guys are good to go. As for the extra dough on the edges, you can roll it again, or you could make them into small little circles, and then they could be small little donut munchkins. Just like when you're making bread, we are going to let these dough rise by covering it with a wet, damp towel, and it's going to rise double the size in an hour. So for the next part, we will add in our oil. I definitely recommend using vegetable oil. It has a high smoking point, so that means that you can cook the oil and increase the temperature before it smokes out. And I had trouble making this donut with sunflower oil because it has a low smoking point, so it started to smoke out before I even reached 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And once it has reached that temperature, we are going to pop them into the oil gently and let it cook on each side for approximately 2 minutes until it's golden throughout. And I also recommend getting a oil thermometer. It is really cheap. I found this at Walmart. It didn't cost me too much, and you can know exactly the temperature of your oil, because it's very easy for you to cook and burn your donuts, which is not what we want. So I just put these donuts into a paper towel on top of a cooling rack. So after letting cool for at least 30 minutes, I decided that I'm going to dip them into the glaze. And the glaze recipe is really simple. It only consists of basically whole milk, confection sugar, and just mix it together. It is a very simple, delicious glaze, so if you guys want the link to that, I've posted that in the description box down below. One of the things about making this Panda donut is that the glaze has to be really thick, just so that it creates that white shiny surface of the panda's face. So if you feel like your glaze is too thin, you can add in another coat just to ensure that it looks beautiful and even. So during the second set of glaze, I usually like to make my characteristics of my donuts relatively quickly so that the glaze sticks onto the cookies. So I cut the Oreo cookies into halves to create the ears, and then I cut them into thirds to create the eyes. And then with any left over, I just broke a small piece to create the nose, and I also used the Oreo cream to create the pupils of the eyes. And if you really want beautiful white eyes, I definitely recommend use a little bit of the glaze and just dab it on top. And yes, I said dab. And this donut is very similar to the Boston cream, so if you guys want chocolate ganache, feel free to pipe it into the donut. Hey turnips, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this really cute tutorial on how to make the Panda donuts. I think they're really cute and it's such a wonderful way to start out your morning, especially on a Monday morning. If you haven't done so, give this video a huge thumbs up so you guys think that this donut is really cute. And do not forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And on Instagram, I usually post a couple of projects ahead of time on what's happening, what I'm baking, so you guys have to check that out, and I'll see you guys next time.